So what we're going to do here is to just add some customization into ChatGPT. And if you've been using it for a while, it's probably been learning stuff, but we're going to talk about the different types of information that trains ChatGPT in order to get a better result. Okay, so why you want to customize it? So as I said, getting better results, but saves time when rewriting. If you've ever found that it spits out information that is generic responses or the wrong tone or personality. I know somebody said something to me one time, oh, that's too flowery, or something just feels off even though it's technically correct. So this is going to really help with that. And that annoying personality, depending upon how particular you are. Some people might think, oh my God, it's too wordy, it's too opinionated, it's too laid back. Like I want it to give me more definitive answers. So this is about making it the way that you want it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use ChatGPT and we're going to write your rules. So you're going to have questions to answer that allows it to customize exactly what you're looking for. And then ChatGPT is going to throw that into a paragraph that you can enter into ChatGPT. And actually, we're going to do that twice. And so since you have a paid version, you'll be able to use the custom GPT that I wrote that'll step you through this. Now, anyone watching the recording, if you don't have the paid version, you're going to you only have a limited number of custom GPTs that you can access when you're on the free plan. And so you'll have to follow along in the workbook and do it all manually, which is kind of confusing and a pain to do. So you might want to upgrade to the paid version. So after we create them, we're going to train ChatGPT on it. And then we're going to talk about leveling up your performance with ChatGPT based on different memory options. Okay, so a little bit about me, just very briefly. So for the last 20 years, I've been deep into helping people with productivity and efficiency. But I think every job that I've ever had, I've done process improvements in FDA environments, ISO environments, defense environments, these controlled environments, and also uncontrolled environments like software development or small companies. Efficiency is in my DNA, and I just love helping people with that. And when ChatGPT came out, it just blew my mind. It's a game changer. Anyone that's not using it all day long, they're wasting time. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to demonstrate here is how different a basic prompt, this write an email from me to introduce myself to a new potential client, customer, whatever works for you. So I had a couple of people run this prompt, and I'm going to show you the differences so that you can see how much customizing makes a difference. So first person wrote this, and obviously client name is blank because we didn't tell it. It was just that exact prompt that I showed you. But this goes into, it starts very, I hope you're doing well. That's her style. She is a very friendly person, gives her name and her business, gives some extra details. And then the follow-up, I'd love to schedule a short call to learn more about your needs, and a place for a booking link. Another person, she owns a photography company. Notice it starts different, right? It's less of that, oh, I'm so glad to meet you. It's more, here's who I am. So these women, they have very similar personalities. So it's hard to notice the changes in the tone, but you can see how the information is very different that it puts right in. And then I had it write one for me. So, and this is much more the way that I would write. I talk about connecting, not meeting with you, and a quick 20-minute chat. That's just how I would phrase things. So now I want you to write this prompt into ChatGPT just so that we can kind of see what it knows about you and see, like when the three of us put this prompt in, it didn't ask us any additional information because it knew enough, it filled it in. It just left the bracket blanks to put in the client's name. And so go ahead and put that prompt in and see what comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me when you get that, what it says.
Should I just share my screen or should I?
No, you can just tell me.
It says, here's a clean professional introduction email you can send to a new potential client.
Great.
It's written in your natural tone, direct, technical when needed, and polished without over-engineering it.
Great. So you've been using it for a while, so that it shows that it has picked up some stuff from you. Whereas somebody who's brand new, they're not even.
And I've told it to be concise. I've been the flowery was certainly something that I wanted to fix.
Great. So the good and the bad about that, right? So you've done some training and it knows your tone. So the one problem is you've trained it based upon the memory, and that stuff can get forgotten, where over time it forgets things because it can only hold so much in memory. And so over time, it decides which things to remember, which things to forget. It summarizes things in order to make room for other things. Whereas what we're going to do, think of it more as like a hard coding, that it always reads these instructions first before it does anything. And so it'll definitely stay around.
Gotcha.
Okay. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on our assistant's personality. So there's the base tone and style that we're going to first set, and that just talks about its tone of voice and behavior that determines how it answers. So here's some examples. I know this is kind of an eye chart, but putting in the prompt, what's the best way to motivate a team that's missed 2 headlines? These are examples of responses that you might get out of ChatGPT. And I say examples of what you might get because you could ask it the same question every day and you're going to get a different answer. But it starts with the name of the tone. So if you've never said it, then it's the default, and that's kind of what you're getting. And that's an example of what it might say. And so you've got professional, friendly, candid, quirky, efficient, nerdy, cynical. So, take a look at these and see if you want something other than the default. If you don't, that's fine. I use the default. But like some people, they want it very warm and chatty. It would make me crazy, but some people like that kind of a thing. Some people want it more candid and direct, so that it's even less wordy than the balanced or the efficient, concise, and plain. So just take a minute, read through these, and see whether or not you think you want to change yours from the default.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would go efficient.
All right. So make note of that. Okay, so we're going to set this tone. And so in ChatGPT, and you want to do this on your computer, not on a phone. So bottom left-hand corner, there should be an icon, your name, a picture of you, something like that. Click on that. And then click on personalization.
Yep.
All right. And then you want to, there's a button, enable customization. You want to make sure that that's turned on. And then the box, look where it says base personality and tone. Actually, I think I'm going to open up
and
this.
now I can find my custom instructions.
Yes.
Station and more about you that I have told it. And that's why it's writing it this way. But yeah, okay. I see default. I'm going to change it to efficient.
Yes. And then you want to scroll down and hit save.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So now we want to train it to on a little bit deeper on how it talks to you, like the length of answers, expressing opinions, that kind of thing. So I put this URL in the chat. There's two URLs in the chat. You want the first one. It says #1:, and then it's got a link. So if you copy and paste that into your browser, this is a custom GPT that I wrote that steps through the questions for ChatGPT to craft a paragraph, putting your preferences into a paragraph to paste in. So this is much easier than what the guys had to do last week.
This is so cool. What in the world? You could make a custom GPT in ChatGPT? Oh, yes. But it's hosted by OpenAI server, right?
Yes, but you can make this either private, no one else sees it, or public, or only people with the link that
but I can't
can see.
I can't have it offline on a server here at Water Tectonics. Yeah.
Yes.
I was exploring that for a little bit because there are use cases where I feel like it would make a lot of sense, but it's and
that
deal with a lot of proprietary information. Nobody wants it going to OpenAI, unfortunately.
Well, you could do that as using an agent. You should be able to create something like that as an agent.
I'm sure that I will be spending a lot more time in these courses with you. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I have, just for your education as well, it's kind of been put on me to develop our sort of strategy as a company and how we use AI policies around stuff, because past year or so everybody's got an email assistant like I do, and everyone's using it for different things. We're even seeing it from vendors using it to justify their technical information. It's just all wrong. So
right. But and part of that is how it's used, because I mean, like, here's an example. I used AI to write a legal document that saved me thousands, because it's a lot cheaper to have an attorney review a document than create it. And the feedback from the attorney was, this is the best well-written that I've ever seen. Absolutely no changes to it. I've used it to craft a what's the word I'm looking for? To challenge the insurance company to appeal their decision, attesting that they said was experimental, that they weren't going to cover it. I was able to do deep research on studies that were done that proved that it was not experimental. And then I forwarded that to my husband's cardiologist for the cardiologist to review and then send it off. And before long, I got a response back. Okay, it's going to be covered. So there are.
Is it more trustworthy these days with citations? Okay.
Yes. And there's that deep research mode is much more that. It actually gives you the citations and that kind of a thing.
Yep. And I did that for basically generate an outline and draft of like a literature review for a paper I was writing. It worked really, really well. Right. But yeah, then I did see, I mean, I saw an example of somebody that came to us, and then I spent a lot of time picking through their justification. All of their citations were fake. None of it made any sense.
Wow. How long ago was this?
Like a month ago.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if they were using the free client or something like that. But I mean, it was so clearly AI generated. Once you use it for a while, you know how it talks. You see the M dashes and all stuff like that, right? So there's dead giveaways, but for a science guy like me, it's tough to fake a citation because I'm going to go find it.
Yes. And there's also ways that you can double check, have it double check.
Yeah. And that's what I do, right? So, but yeah, I'm just seeing that and curious just from your perspective, because you have so much more exposure than I do. how we're dealing with citations and such. So your advice there is deep research.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Okay.
let me stop talking. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Oh, it's in my browser. Okay. That's where my custom instructions interviewer GPT is living right now. Is it okay for it to be in a browser?
Yes.
Okay. Answer the questions. I don't have any. Oh, I gotta click it. Okay. Say start when you're ready.
Yep. And if you clicked it, it should start.
It looks like I have asked, are you ready to train ChatGPT? Say start when you're ready, and then it said start.
Okay, let me. So is it starting?
I don't know. It just said start. I can share my screen.
Okay, so whatever the instructions say in the in that little block, it might say like start phase 1 or something like that. Begin phase 1, start phase. I think it says start phase 1. Type that into your into that ChatGPT window right there, and it should start giving you instructions. Here, let me.
I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm seeing.
Okay.
So then I click that little box where it says, are you ready to train ChatGPT? Oh, it's asking me to say start, not click the box.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And say start. Oh, okay. And see if that.
There you go. Okay, I gotcha. Responses, instruction. Ooh, yeah, teal. Very smooth. Bullets.
And one of the things that I add in that's not going to be in the questions is something to the effect of, if you need additional information, don't guess, ask me.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And yeah, don't make stuff up. You know, there's something in there like that I'm just automatically adding that in.
Don't speculate. Don't.
Yeah. And again, I put that in. It'll automatically build that into your paragraph that you're going to be pasting in.
Okay.
So while we're playing with this ChatGPT, this custom GPT, so what you're saying, the responses that you're giving, it doesn't remember those. Those are just providing that, right? But what it's going to do at the end is it's going to spit out a paragraph that'll have that information in there that you'll be able to copy and paste. But tomorrow, how do I say this? Like, it's not going to remember what you typed in here. It's just doing a process.
It's just generating the paragraph. And then we use the paragraph and feed it back in.
By following the instructions precisely. So this is a great thing. Like, let's say a company uses a specific procedure or process and format for job descriptions or whatever. You can have it go through and ask people questions about the job listing that they want to, the job description that they want to do. And then it formats it. And they're all in the company are formatted the same way because that's what it's trained to do. But it's taking that input. Same thing for, if a report that you wanted to do that you don't need it to remember. If you need it to remember from week to week what the report was, that's better done as a project.
Gotcha.
And then just, oh, you're done. Okay. Let me go back to my,
Should I keep sharing my screen? Or?
no, I just took it back over. Okay, so what you're going to do is copy that paragraph that it just created, and then go back the same place in ChatGPT, click on your name, lower left-hand corner, click on personalization, and then there's a box there that says custom instructions.
Yes.
Now, do you have any?
I have something written in there. It says, respond as a subject matter expert in water treatment engineering. Tell it like it is. Don't sugarcoat responses.
Okay. Is that all that it has?
Yes.
Okay. So you can leave that in there, and then you can just, paste after that. Your character count, what was it? It was like 900 and something, right?
718.
Okay, yeah, that's really low. So you can just go ahead and paste that in under what you'd already had in there, and then make sure that you click save.
Save. Perfect.
Okay.
Done.
So now we're going to teach ChatGPT more about you so that it can better tailor responses. And again, these are the permanent things, as I was talking about early on, that it'll be able to fill in when it's writing for you, and you don't have to worry about it forgetting. So in the chat, go to the second URL that I put in there, and then it's going to ask you for those email samples. And so you can either, depending upon how long they are, you can either copy and paste them into after you go to this URL, or you can save the Word document and upload it. Either one works.
Can you hear me okay? I'm sorry, I lost you there.
Yes, I can hear you.
Headphones switched for some god-awful reason.
Oh, that's fine. So you want to go to the chat and do the same thing that you did before, but this is the prompt number
New
2.
Browser window?
And it's going to, yes, a new tab, yes. You can close the old one. You don't need it. But this is a different custom GPT that I wrote.
Is there a custom instruction?
And so when you go
is
here,
that the right one?
Custom instruction, yes, that is the right one. So, actually, no.
These are the same link.
Yes, yeah. It is the same. I'm sorry, I messed that up. Let me. It's like you check this stuff over and over again, and you still miss something.
I had one with my marketing colleague that, yeah, she'd read over it, 100 times and still had a one person's name in it. It always happens. You need fresh eyes.
Yeah, and my husband, he is so good at catching that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just pasted it in the chat, actually correct this time.
Got it.
Okay, so this is going to ask you for those email samples. So you can either copy and paste the emails that you put into that Word document, or you can save the Word document and then upload it. Either one works when it asks that, but you're going to have to like tell it to begin just like you did the previous one.
Yep. I told it to start phase 1. Now it's saying, please paste 3 to 5 samples of your writing. Once you send them, I'll analyze your voice and summarize it for phase 1. I will attach. I'll go to the first Word document, save. So, can I upload Word directly?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, it's restating to me. Oh, it's responding the way that I told it to. That's nice. So it's leading with a TLDR.
Yeah, I love that TLDR. That's I don't know, at some point I thought to do that, and that's why I added it into the customization like that. It just makes like, who wants to, we read so much stuff today. I can't remember the statistics, but they talk, it's something absurd. Like every day we read as much information as, 50 years ago they read in a year, something crazy like that. And so many of the responses, like I just read the TLDR and I don't need to go one beyond that.
All right, now to ask, I've moved on to phase 2.
Right.
Given it my name and title. What do you do professionally?
Yeah, these questions are kind of generic because some people, they're in corporate, some people are business owners, and so sometimes a job title is architect. That's pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of times job titles, you need to really explain what it is that you do.
Oh no, because I just told it I'm director of innovation at Water Tectonics, where we're located, but I didn't give it any more information. Should I try to
Nope, we can do that.
Just move on.
Yeah, I'd move on.
Okay.
You can add more in later, and it'll ask more about your job responsibilities and that kind of thing, and that's totally fine.
Okay. Engineer, scientist, consultant, water. Problems do you solve for them, including core responsibilities and outcomes you typically dream of?
And the reason we're identifying this stuff is because it changes how it answers you when it knows your frame of reference. I mean, think about the fact that it has access to like all the information out there. And just like when you're doing a prompt, you can change what comes back when you tell it the role that it serves. But the same thing, if you ask it a question as an engineer, it's going to give you different information than if you owned a landscaping business.
Mm-hmm.
And I have mine give opinions and, give me options and pros and cons and all of that. And it'll refer to information that it knows about me, because this is a goal that you're trying to do. This is, this would be more effective, or
What deliverables do you typically create?
yeah, and don't overthink it. That that report that you showed on the screen. That's something that you create. Maybe you create performance reviews, or, just kind of.
I told it emails, technical reports, technical presentation slides, and sales proposals.
Perfect.
Really pretty good. Any industries, tools, templates, or specific jargon you want GPT to be familiar working with you? Yes. Aaron. Oh man, there's too many things. I love that it can, man, as soon as it started writing complex differential equations for me, I was like, okay, this is the real deal. Next question. Are there any words, tones, or behaviors you want GPT to avoid when working with you? Anything that makes you easily identifiable.
Yeah, like I tell it no M dashes. It
Yeah.
still puts some in, but it puts a lot less in than if I didn't say that.
I just, replace an M dash with a semicolon.
Yeah. But I do, after it writes something for me, I will tell it, okay, now go back through and replace the M dashes with either a period, a comma, a regular dash, or a semicolon or something. But it's so funny the way that that's something that I think is hard coded into it.
Right? It's so strange.
Yeah.
It's like it determined, hey, this makes you look smart or something.
Right. And it's definitely in the hard coding, because you can, like Claude, if you take and you have Claude write something, you don't get the M dashes. So all of the LLMs, they've got all of that knowledge, and then they've got that hard coding that the the company wrote for that LLM. And it's got to be in there the way that no matter how many times you tell it no M dashes, it still throws some in.
Right. Okay, it generated me a phase 2 summary paragraph. Do I need to copy that or just move directly to phase 3?
It should have. Did it give you both you've created 2 paragraphs now, right? I mean, correct. You did both sections and then it combined them into one, correct?
Oh, yeah. Because it says here's your phase 2 summary in a single first person paragraph.
Yes, so exactly.
Take that and put it back into custom instructions.
Actually, it goes into the about you section. So if you scroll down from custom instructions, and then the next section about you, there's your name and occupation, and then the more about you is where you're going to paste that.
Excellent. Saved.
All right. Okay, so the changes that you put in, they only apply in a new chat. So how sometimes you go back to your old chats and stuff, like they don't know it, so it's just a new chat that's starting. Every now and then, when I was playing with this and I'm making a lot of changes in mine, I noticed that sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't updated. And it's just a glitch that happens every now and then that you need to log out and log back in, and then the changes will be there. Okay, so now
log out and log in.
Huh?
Let me preemptively log out and then log back in.
All right. And then what I want you to do is to start a new chat, and then let's write this email again. Try this prompt and see if it has more information about you. If it, again, you trained it on your voice before, so there might not be much change in that regard, but
second. 2, 5, 4. Okay, now I'm back. Wow, beautiful.
So did it add in more information?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Great. That's what we're looking for.
I've never ever tried to get it to do an email for me either.
Hmm.
That's
Interesting.
hilarious that of course I should be thinking about.
Yes. And
This is
here
what
are,
fun to bounce off other people how they're using it, right?
right. And which is part of the reason why I'm doing this membership, because everybody's underutilizing it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just amazing. The number of times I hear, oh, I never thought about using AI for that. So let me tell you my email scenarios that are like my favorites. Those emails that are complicated
Mm-hmm.
for one of two reasons. Some of them, they're emotionally difficult, whether you're giving negative feedback to an employee, pushback on a client, something that you have to hit that emotional edge without being too harsh. ChatGPT takes the emotion out of it. The other one is it's a lot of pieces of information that you need to deliver it in a way that's easy for them to consume. So both of those two scenarios, I use the voice mode where I like just turn the microphone on and I say, help me write this email, and I just word vomit. And just I can say, if like let's say I'm giving negative feedback, I can be so harsh in my right out of my voice, out of my mouth, and yet it'll write something that's positive but direct feedback.
That's so
And so
helpful.
yes, it saves so much time on those kinds of emails.
I haven't thought about the voice feature too. I should do that because I tend to be a little bit scattered and all over the place when I'm trying to, it's like too many ideas and you just throw them all out there. That's really, really smart.
Yes, and it'll organize it. So when I say voice mode, so there are on your ChatGPT, there is two buttons in there. There is the microphone, and that just basically is transcribing whatever you say. The other one that kind of, I don't even know what that shape is with the lines.
Mhm.
That is a different voice mode that is where you're having a conversation with it. It has its use cases, but I'm not talking about that for this. I'm talking about so that you're not having to take the time to type, but you're able to just word vomit all your thoughts about a topic. Let's say you're responding to a customer who they've got this brilliant idea that you're like, oh my God, that's horrible. That'll never work. This is a perfect example that you can give the details in a word vomit quickly, and yet you don't have to worry about the organization or walking that fine line of like being respectful but firm.
Mhm.
Okay, so just a little bit more about teaching ChatGPT, what we're talking about here. So the more it knows about you, the better it can respond. So we entered customizations and the about you. Now, again, those are the standing rules that ChatGPT reads at the start of any new chats. And then you've got your memory. And your memory is something that's evolving facts about you. And so there are two settings in your settings that is for referencing saved memories or chat history. So if you go to your, if you go to settings, you click on your name, settings, and actually, yeah, and then click on personalization, and then scroll down with the inner scroll bar, and it has memory underneath of where you did the About You section. Underneath of that, it says memory. So there's two sliders there, reference saved memories and reference chat history. Do you have both of those turned on?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. You definitely want that. Now, if you're doing something and you don't want it remembered, like sometimes I'll do stuff for clients, and it was so funny. Early on when I was using it, and I have a client who's an architect, and I used it to write some stuff for him. And it was interesting that ChatGPT was then like saying that I was an architect also, So I've learned that things that I don't want it to remember, you can use in the upper right-hand corner after you click new chat, and then up in the upper right-hand corner, it's kind of like a word bubble with that's dashed lines around it. You click on that, and it's a temporary chat that it will not save that memory.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we did this. So part of building that memory is actually, let's do this first. Go to start a new chat and say, what do you know about me?
So, you want to approve it verbally?
You're not getting folks' conversations in my background, right?
Well, pretty straightforward. It's a 5 foot by 3 foot by 1 foot plastic box with a metal galvanized back tent.
Wow,
Look at this.
Have you already seen that?
Yeah, it knows a lot about me. Love that.
right. So you
that.
might find something that comes back that it remembered that you don't want it to remember. Kind of like the situation that I was talking about before. And so you can just say, forget, blah, 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 and it'll forget it. Not necessarily immediately. There's kind of a process that it goes through to forget. But, it could take up to 30 days for it to totally forget it. But, and it doesn't, it'll forget the memory, but there's also, because we can reference these memories, chat history. So if there is a chat history where you just built it, if you don't delete that chat history, that's also, it'll refer to it that way too. So you can also say, remember, and then put information in there. So let's say you want it to remember, your boss's name, your the members of who's on your team, your customer name, anything that you want it to remember, but it's not hard coded in the custom instructions. You can update it. That customer goes away, you can say forget it. So right now there's a little bug in the system, but once they fix that, in that screen next to memory where it says manage, you can click on there and you can see all the memories that are there. And right now you can still say forget, and then just kind of tell it what you want it to forget. But there normally is to the right of it, like a trash can or 3 dots or something to delete each individual memory, and that's disappeared. Some glitch, but it should be back. So
it's
in the
still
future,
there for me.
Oh, it is awesome.
Yeah,
that is perfect. So if there's any of those that you want it to forget, you just click on that and it'll remove them. But
awesome.
I don't have it, so all right. So so things that you might want to add, like remember that my weekly stand-up uses the sections wins, blockers, priorities. Remember that my preferred spreadsheet tool is Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, or remember my location, or again, like I talked about with the bosses. So just things that you want it to remember so that you're not constantly telling it. You just use the phrase remember and then whatever you want it to remember. We talked about pruning memories.
The memory?
Yes. There is, and it
can I
will
just feed it, like,
automatically
endless
sort.
information?
Right. And so it will forget stuff out. So you don't want to do everything. And so that's where we'll talk about projects in a minute. So the other thing I want you to do is to scroll down. So close out of the, manage memories. And if you scroll down, actually, you don't scroll down. You look up and click on data controls and security. So the very top setting, like up, so clicking on your name and then, under the personalization, and actually it's not under personalization. So you just do settings, and then in that top list, it's the 5th one down, data controls and security.
I got
the top line there, improve the model for everyone. Is yours on or off?
Off.
Okay, awesome. You want that off. Okay. And then so just a little bit about why it forgets. And I've talked about a little bit of this through the call. So, but in a chat, as ChatGPT is going through stuff and the chat grows, so there is this memory concept that it's tokens, like every characters use up tokens, and it is limited in the number of tokens that it can hold on to. And so different models have different tokens, and free plan, paid plan. ChatGPT is different than Claude, Google, Grok. It's all different tokens. So, but the thing that's important is that as a chat is growing, when it starts running low on tokens, what it'll do is it'll summarize information that was early in the conversation in order to keep going, so that it doesn't need to keep all of the information.
And it's going to lose some of that color.
Yes, exactly. It loses details. And that's why you'll be like, I told you that. Why have you forgotten that? Because it just made a mistake that it didn't know what was the most important. So if you're doing like a really long chat on something, you ask it, summarize, and then you're like, okay, but this isn't what's important. This is important. And you tell it what's important as the chat continues, so that as it forgets the earlier information, it's forgetting the stuff that you don't care about, and you're reiterating the stuff that is important. In projects, which I know you don't use, and we'll be talking about that later, but for anyone listening to the recording that does use them, sometimes it'll lose context from the training, and so you have to refer back to the documents. So, for example, let's say you had a project for creating proposals, right? And you're just using the same project over and over again, and you've trained it on what the perfect project looks like. You've given it a sample. All you have to do is use the phrase, using the uploaded sample, that reminds it to go in and look at that. Otherwise, every now and then it can just forget, because it's trying to keep it all straight. And it's surprising how much sometimes it acts like a person and forgets stuff. So there is something called context rot. So, which is like what we were talking about, that it does forget things when it's way too much information. So you do want to start new chats. Don't keep one going too long, unless it is you've consciously made that decision that you want to keep this together, and you're going to reiterate this stuff.
Can a project go longer?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay, so again, here's signs of context rot. It references outdated versions, contradicts something. It asks for clarifications on something you've already given it. Okay, so like I said, it may retain high level facts. Like one time it did something, it got my last name wrong, which was very bizarre to me because it knows my name. And so it just when the memory, when it's out of tokens, it can do some really crazy stuff. Okay, so for better results, you want to utilize projects or custom GPTs. Those are two high-level things for different purposes. Projects have persistent context. So, you're building a history and a memory that is within the project. So, building a presentation, or if you want to remember, like, okay, like each time I'm doing a presentation, I change it a little bit and it gets better and better. Or let's say you have a project that is a particular client, so that it remembers things about the client and what's going on, but you do different things within that project. So as opposed to custom GPTs, that as you've read, you went through that, right? And it's kind of like training a role, like you're doing this over and over and over again, and I want you to do it the exact same. It's not going to remember the context of, oh, well, last week when we did it for Bob, this is what it said. That's not going to happen, but it remembers exactly how to do it. And so I gave some examples there. I had like a chart with lots more detail in it last week, but I think it was just too much. So I took it out and simplified it to this. But next training, we're going to be going deeper into projects.
Beautiful.
We'll go deeper into how to set, and we'll actually set something up.